What do you think about dark woke? Is that what you meant about libs and progressives getting some edge? No, here's like, this is what I'll say. I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to make people do this, and I don't know. Let's say that you got a guy in a wheelchair. We'll see if I can do 5 of these. We'll call this level 5 ableism, okay? You have a guy in a wheelchair and you hate people in wheelchairs. They slow people down, drag on society, waste of money, fiscally, family, kill them. These are just like evil, hateful. You don't like people in wheelchairs. That's what you are, right? This is like, it feels like hate. I'll say it sounds like hate. Then you got people who are like, they don't hate people in wheelchairs, but they're kind of like bothered by them. And they make like a lot of mean jokes about them. So maybe you call them like bullies. But if you're like, should we kill all people in wheelchairs? We're like, no, bro, well, that's fucked up. But they're like mean to them. Look at this crip walker or unwalker. This guy feels mean, sounds mean, right? Then you've got people who can joke with them. They're kind of like mean bantery jokes, but it doesn't feel like it's coming from a place of hate, you know? Like, hey, what's up, buddy? I guess I'm not taking the stairs today. I don't know. Something is some fucking joke or whatever. You're walking with a wheelchair friend, right? So like, it's like mean jokes, but like it's coming from a good place. You know, the guy doesn't hate him, right? And then you've got like people who are like compassionate and they're really like, hey, don't treat your wheelchair friend like anything else. Okay. He's a normal human just like the rest of us. Like, come on, let's be cool. Right. It feels like it's coming from a place of compassion, but it's like, it comes across as a little soy. And then you've got the people that feel soy. Actually, I'll say it feels condescending. And it sounds soy as fuck. Okay, there's room for this to be improved. Okay, doing this off the top of the dome, all right? Everybody in society agrees that hateful people are bad, right? Let's just go right to race, okay? Everybody agrees that these people are bad, okay? You sound racist, you are racist. You, not cool, right? We haven't all come to an agreement that this over here, however, is bad. This weird like condescension of like, oh, we need to take care of our minorities because they are like, they've been enslaved and over by society for so long. Okay. I think that the majority of like conservatives are somewhere in here. I think that the majority of like far left media is somewhere in here between these two. And I wish that we could like aim for somewhere in here. And I think it would solve a lot of our problems when it comes to like messaging. So what does this mean? It means that I legitimately and genuinely believe this is epitomized in ContraPoints talking. I just want to play this. I should just have this clip ready. Does anybody have ContraPoints talking about trans spaces or whatever? What's an example of feels nice and sounds mean? An example of feels nice and sounds mean is when you got a friend who like banters with you, but he like clearly knows where the line is. And when you need him to like step up to like recognize some shit, he will always do that, you know? So like feels nice and sounds mean, I think is some shit where you go out, well, using the wheelchair example, right? Like you go out drinking with friends or some shit and chill. I don't know. Think of like a wheelchair ramp joke. You make a joke, it's otherizing. You're pointing out the fact that he's in a wheelchair, whatever. And it's like me, but like you guys, you're not crush the line, you don't. But like when you leave the bar at the end of the night and your friends are all taken off, you're like, hold on, I'm gonna help like Jim like get his car or whatever. Regardless of like however you joke with him, like at the end of the day, you have his back. And that's, there's no question about that. There's never, I don't know how to express it, but there's never a question in your mind where it's like, is this guy like actually like a piece of shit? No, it's like absolutely not. Like this guy will always be there for me, 100%. You don't have to think about it, you know? I guess you can compare it to, I mean, obviously, maybe everybody thinks they're in the middle. I don't know. I mean, I would say I'm in the middle. I would hope, I guess. But like, so like I would joke with Dan all the time about Jew shit or whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't think Dan would ever think I would legitimately be after him on some Jew shit ever. I don't think that would ever happen. I think that the issue is that progressives will progressives label everything to the left of one. They'll label everything to the left of one as like 4 or 5, which is obnoxious as fuck. So if you make any jokes or if you're problematic, they'll say that you're basically a white supremacist, which is bullshit. And then you end up in this world where I genuinely do believe that minorities prefer to deal with people who are at like even 4 than people who are at 1. You'd rather a guy that's just kind of like a piece of joke and makes like a piece of there's like a guy who's like a piece of shit and he makes jokes about you all the time or whatever, but he treats you as a real human being. He's just like down on you on this like whatever minority status. But I think you'd almost rather deal with that guy than the people who are like ultra fucking soy, who are like the condescending, crazy, like, oh my God, like we have to be sensitive to all of your whatever. I think that that's like it's the vibe that I get. Maybe not for everybody, but I feel like there's a decent chunk of people that have that feeling.
Anyway, let's look at the tweet. This is the most scrutinized paragraph I've ever written, and it's so mediocre. This has happened to me before in hyper-woke spaces. Like it's me and a bunch of cis women, and we all have to go in a circle saying she, her because I'm there. There's this paradox where I can go to a sports bar in North Carolina and be Miss Ma'amed all night, no question. But in self-consciously trans-inclusive spaces, I have to explain my pronouns and watch woke people awkwardly correct themselves every time they say, you guys. I guess it's good for people who use they, them only and want only gender-neutral language. But it comes at the minor expense of semi-passable transes like me, and that's super fucking hard for us. So people interpreted this tweet as me being against the practice of sharing pronouns, which I'm literally just not. Like, I've actually been the person who initiates the pronoun circle many times. The backstory of this tweet is basically that I once got triggered in a situation where I was with a bunch of cis women and we all had to go around saying our pronouns, and like a typical triggered tranny, I tiptoed over to Twitter to tip-tap type it out. But here's the thing, by the end of this thread I had already talked myself away from the initial frustration I was expressing. If you know my videos and my voice, then you know me saying it comes at the minor expense of semi-passable transes, and that's super fucking hard for us, is sarcastic. It's a minor expense. It's not actually very hard for us, Gorge. It's fine. But people on Twitter don't watch my videos and they don't get sarcasm. So people flipped out over this.
Like, I think there's a degree of truth to this. I think I spoke about this the other day where I spoke about how like, because progressives try so hard to tiptoe around and be nice and compassionate and understanding of everybody except for white people or guys, you end up in this weird world where conservatives are like, okay, well listen, black people, minorities, trans people, we're just going to do like general messaging. I feel like you can almost accidentally end up in a better place as a conservative to do messaging to people because it doesn't feel like there's constant pandering. And it's like, okay, like, bro, when I was reading, and again, I know that this is what I'm about to reference now is very online shit, but like, holy fuck, when I was reading that math book that got published where it was like black children can learn math better if they're running around outside. I'm like, what? Really? Is this really where we're at? Or that keeping a schedule, that's like a white man's concept. That's like Western imperialism. Really? So we're actually doing the CPT. That's a real thing now. Colored people time is a real thing now that we're putting in our education system. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't know. That shit is just like insanely, like unbelievably fucking cringe to me. But Destiny, I think the problem is the asymmetry. Type 1 people have convinced left-wing politicians and media people to speak in a Type 1 way. Type 5 conservatives, however, are smarter than that and have made sure the public-facing conservatives only say Type 4 stuff out loud, which means the public can't tell that a lot of them behind the scenes are truly Type 5. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe, but like another issue too is that somebody said in YouTube chat, Destiny, you're ignoring how Trump paraded blacks for Trump. Okay, at the risk of being super white and getting this very wrong, because this is all vibed out, but like, this is the feeling I have. If you were to take an average far-right black guy and throw him into, you know, on TV and have people watch him for a little bit, that person probably more closely resembles an average black guy. He might be more conservative in some views or whatever than a far left black guy who's like a weird college kid who's on some like crazy Black Panther, I don't even want to say like new black, like just on some crazy anti-Western imperialism. Like that person is going to be less resembling of the black community than a far right black person. Same thing with Latinos or any other minority shit. I feel like the far left representations of these are they're just different colored white people. I'm sorry, that sounds so bad, but that's what it feels like. It's like, oh shit, okay, well we're printing the Western imperialism, Western cultural dominance people, and we're just printing them in different colors, and here we go. And then meanwhile, the right's like, yeah, we're racist, so fucking black people and Latinos sometimes. And trust me, you know, if you're looking for a guy to hate a black person, no better black person to hate a black person, or no better person to hate a black person than another black person. Same thing with Latinos, same thing with white people too, bro. Everybody hates everybody. And the people that hate the most sometimes are the people of your own skin color, because they know you the most, because you're your closest. Bigotry, small differences, you know? I don't know. This could be just a vibed out take. Like, it could be that in general it's not as true, but